Chapter 6, Part A, Collapse in Quantum Mechanics versus Consciousness. In the quantum world, a particle is a mystery until observed, at which point it chooses its path, collapsing from a sea of possibilities into one reality. Is consciousness the observer of our mental quantum field? The wave function holds all possibilities. When we measure, we choose one, making the invisible visible. What if our awareness is that measurement, giving clarity to the chaos of potential experiences? Clovis. In quantum mechanics, the collapse of the wave function occurs when a quantum system transitions from a state of superposition, where it exists in multiple possible states, to a single observable state. Imagine a quantum particle that can be in a superposition of two states, A and B. When a measurement is made, the particle collapses into one of these states, either A or B, and this is the state observed. Similarly, in consciousness, we might hold a range of potential thoughts, emotions, or experiences. Meditation acts as a measurement that helps focus these potentials into a singular, conscious experience. Meditation could be likened to the act of observation in quantum mechanics, where the act of focusing attention collapses the field of potential experiences into a singular conscious state. When you meditate, you might start with a busy mind full of various thoughts. By focusing your attention, you allow one thought or state to become predominant, effectively collapsing the chaotic field of potential thoughts into a clear present state of awareness. Present perception is our ability to focus on the now moment, which helps us process and experience our current reality. It filters out potential alternatives and lets us experience a singular reality. When you concentrate on a task, you're filtering out distractions and focusing on the immediate experience. Just as the act of measurement collapses a quantum system's superposition into a single state, present perception collapses a range of potential experiences into a specific, immediate experience. Present perception acts as a filter that collapses multiple potential experiences into a singular moment of consciousness, much like the measurement process in quantum mechanics collapses the superposition of states into one observable state. Present perception is our general awareness of this quantum collapse-like event. Motion requires time, so our awareness filters different time events to allow transitioning through them, presenting the illusion of motion and time. Imagine you are trying to decide what to focus on while meditating. By choosing to focus on your breath, you collapse the array of potential thoughts and experiences into a single point of attention. Meditation isn't just stillness, it's an act of focus, collapsing the swirling sea of thoughts into one clear, conscious moment. Think of meditation as your mind taking the role of the quantum observer. When you focus, you shift from a state of mental superposition to a singular, present reality. Clovis. Meditation is a practice where attention and focus are directed in a way that helps collapse or refine the mental state from a multitude of potential experiences to a single, present-focused experience. In quantum mechanics, our measurement collapses the quantum wave function into a definite state, and focused attention during meditation collapses the range of potential thoughts or states into a singular, present-focused experience. Present perception is like a quantum measurement process, where the act of focusing attention collapses the mind's potential states into a present experience. Meditation could be seen as a process akin to quantum measurement, where focusing the mind collapses various potential mental states into a singular present experience. Imagine a quantum particle in a superposition of spinning both clockwise and counterclockwise. When you meditate, your mind starts in a superposition of thoughts and emotions, much like the particle's uncertain spin states. As you focus on your breath or a mantra, you measure this state, bringing clarity to your mental experience just as the measurement collapses the particle's spin into a definite direction. Present perception is our mind's ability to focus on the now, filtering the noise and allowing one thought, one experience, to shine through. It's like the measurement that collapses quantum possibilities into reality. When we focus, We're not just moving through time. We're collapsing the potential of time into the now, the singular moment of conscious experience. Clovis. Part B. Conscious field coherence and the informational substrate. Moving toward a unified framework of gravity, electromagnetism, and subjective time. This speculative idea proposes a unified ontological framework in which both gravity and electromagnetism, EM, emerge from a deeper informational substrate. Drawing from loop quantum gravity's spin networks and the holographic principle, it proposes that consciousness, via coherent EM field states, can interact with this substrate, thereby modulating the emergent behavior of spacetime and quantum fields. Such modulation may explain anomalous physical effects, subjective temporal distortion, and the relationship between quantum observation and reality formation. Modern physics offers compelling yet disjointed views of reality. General relativity describes gravity as the curvature of a smooth spacetime fabric, while quantum field theory presents particles and forces as excitations within discrete quantum fields. Loop quantum gravity, LQG, introduces spin networks, suggesting spacetime itself is quantized. Meanwhile, the holographic principle, particularly in ADAS-CFT duality, hints that all of spacetime might be encoded on a lower dimensional boundary. This paper proposes a novel synthesis, that both spin networks and the holographic layer emerge from an even deeper informational substrate. Furthermore, we argue that conscious field coherence, a state of synchronized EM activity in conscious systems, interacts with this substrate to influence physical dynamics in both subtle and potentially observable ways. I define the informational substrate as a foundational ontological structure from which space, time, matter, and energy emerge, not merely as a computational interface or model, epistemic, but as a real, physical entity akin to a generalized spacetime foam. Unlike traditional quantum fields or geometries, this substrate does not reside within space or time, but instead generates them as emergent constructs. It may resemble a pre-geometric lattice or informational graph, with dynamics more fundamental than those described by the Planck scale. This ontological framing positions the substrate as a deeper physical reality, rather than a symbolic or epistemic abstraction. It may be akin to the it-from-qubit view, where spacetime geometry arises from informational relationships, but in our model, those relationships are physically instantiated and modifiable by field coherence. Integration of spin networks and the holographic principle. These two paradigms are not necessarily at odds. Spin networks, from LQG, describe the granular, discrete nature of spacetime volume elements via combinatorial graph structures. Holography encodes these volumetric states on lower dimensional surfaces, projecting 3D bulk geometry from 2D boundary information. The holographic boundary may serve as the informational input-output interface of the deeper substrate, while spin networks are the internal processing geometry, like a CPU's logic gates. I propose that conscious field coherence, specifically synchronized electromagnetic, EM activity in the brain-heart system, acts not as the source of consciousness itself, but as a dynamical mode through which consciousness can interact with and perturb the informational substrate. Drawing from orchestrated objective reduction, OR, we selectively integrate the notion that quantum gravitational thresholds within neuronal microtubules may serve as discrete event triggers for consciousness-relevant coherence. Rather than asserting OR as the sole model of consciousness, we use its threshold criterion as a mechanism by which coherent EM field states might entrain microtubular processes, facilitating moments of substrate resonance. The coherence does not cause consciousness, but allows consciousness to act as a low-entropy informational structure, capable of modulating foundational physics. Temporal-Subjection theory suggests that consciousness may not passively observe time, but actively shape its flow. In this framework, we hypothesize that conscious field coherence perturbs the time operator in quantum systems. This would introduce a bias or asymmetry in how the informational substrate generates temporal sequence, effectively allowing subjective temporal states to influence the emergent structure of objective time. In analogy to a quantum system's Hamiltonian being perturbed by external fields, we frame subjective consciousness as a resonant perturbation on the temporal generation process, subtly shifting probabilities, phase relations, or decoherence thresholds within the substrate's geometry. If this framework holds, it reframes the observer effect in quantum mechanics as an active reconfiguration of reality via consciousness. Time becomes a negotiation between substrate-level information flow and cognitive coherence. Consciousness may not simply reside in the brain, but function as a field-based coherence generator, capable of interacting with a universal informational substrate. This deep layer, beneath spin networks and holographic encoding, may serve as the bridge through which mind and matter truly meet. Further theoretical development and rigorous interdisciplinary research are essential to move this framework from speculation to testable hypothesis. If space is quantized and emergent from fundamental informational geometry, as in LQG and holography, then time may also be emergent, discrete, and subject to wave-like behavior. It may interact with consciousness fields in ways analogous to how quantum systems collapse under observation,